Well, folks, tonight I bring you perhaps the least surprising news ever, which is Donald Trump's administration, J.D. Vance, Jared Kushner, all of those guys have failed to reach a peace deal with Iran. They traveled to the Middle East to have in-person talks, and they've now announced that they failed. No agreement has been reached, and it makes you wonder if there was ever a deal in the first place, because Donald
Okay, I never thought like this. Never thought like this. I thought they are in Islamabad, Pakistan to make a peace deal with Iran. I never thought there was no deal.
Trump just the other day was on social media bragging about this deal, saying there's going to be long-lasting peace in the Middle East. He was essentially saying it was the final piece of the puzzle, and now that agreement has fallen short. And you will
Okay.
not believe what Donald Trump was up to tonight as these negotiations were ongoing. It is embarrassing, once again, humiliating
I know. He's at the UFC fight, right?
for the United States, but that is an everyday occurrence with Donald Trump in office. So let's just get into the story and talk about it. And let's start here. Please make sure to subscribe down below to support Gen Z Media and the fight against
Yes, okay.
MAGA. Drop a like on the video as well, comment, let me know what you think about this story.
Yes,
And
guys.
this is what Trump said the other day on social media about this deal. He was talking about it as if it was a certainty. He said, based on
Okay, so this is from the Truth Social. Yes, Donald Trump's own social media platform.
conversations with leaders in the Middle East, and wherein they requested that I hold off the destructive force being sent tonight to Iran. This is when he was threatening to take out everybody in Iran, and subject to the Islamic Republic of Iran agreeing to the complete, immediate, and safe opening of the Strait of Hormuz, I agreed to suspend the bombing and attack of Iran for a period of 2 weeks. This will be a double-sided ceasefire. The reason for doing so is that we've already met and exceeded all military objectives, which is just not true. We don't even know what their objectives were still to this day.
Yes.
And are very far along with a definitive agreement concerning long-term peace with Iran and peace in the Middle East. We received a 10-point proposal from Iran and believe it is a workable basis on which to negotiate. Almost all of the various points of past contention have been agreed to between the United States and Iran, but a 2-week period will allow the agreement to be finalized and consummated. On behalf of the United States of America, as president and also representing the countries of the Middle East, it is an honor to have this long-term problem close to resolution. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Close to resolution, long-lasting peace in the Middle East, he says. They just need 2 weeks to finalize the agreement and make
This is what it is. This is what it is. Look is this at your eyes open.
sure it's a working deal and put it into place. Well,
Yeah,
J.D. Vance, Donald Trump's vice president,
mm,
has made a stunning announcement tonight. Stunning
very
if
stunning.
you're a MAGA supporter and
Okay.
believe that Donald Trump actually had an agreement, but an entirely expected
Yeah.
announcement if you're anybody else. Vance, in this press conference in Pakistan, said, "We have not reached an agreement. They have chosen not to accept our terms."
This is what it is. Listen.
Watch.
Marshall Munir, who were both incredible hosts. And whatever shortcomings of the negotiation, it wasn't because of the Pakistanis, who did an amazing job and really tried to help us and the Iranians bridge the gap and get to a deal. We have been at it now for 21 hours, and we've had a number of substantive discussions with the Iranians. That's the good news. The bad news is that we have not reached an agreement, and I think that's bad news for Iran much more than it's bad news for the United States of America. So we go back to the United States having not come to an agreement. We've made very clear what our red lines are, what things we're willing to accommodate them on, and what things we're not willing to accommodate them on. And we've made that as clear as we possibly could, and they have chosen not to accept our terms.
But wait,
Okay.
JD,
Okay.
hold on.
Yeah.
Your guy, your boss, told us
Damn. This is what it is. This
just
is.
the other day that they've achieved all their military objectives. They're very far along with a definitive agreement concerning long-term peace with Iran and peace in the Middle East.
Yeah.
They said they had a workable basis, and they're just trying to get the deal into place, and that's why there's a ceasefire. It's basically all ready. What happened, JD?
This is funny.
It's so frustrating for me, and I think you at home and every American,
Yeah,
when this
man.
administration lies on a daily basis. And to be
Every-
clear, I don't
yes.
think you or I ever really bought into this
Lies in every daily basis. This is what it is.
Donald Trump deal. He has lied time and time again about striking an
So
amazing
many
deal
lies,
in the Middle
so
East or
many.
just anywhere
Yeah.
around the world. He's lied constantly about this. But it's so frustrating for the
Very.
Americans when we're in the middle of a war. Our stomachs are churning every single day thinking about the young Americans in the Middle East who are subjected to this war, and Donald Trump continues to lie about it. And now J.D. Vance is saying the exact opposite. of what Donald Trump said in this statement. He said, we're just making sure it's done.
Yes, what it is. This is very bad. Every single American is frustrated by these things daily basis, the lies in a daily basis. No way.
We just want, a couple things to figure out, and then it's all good. JD Vance says now there is no agreement, and he says, this is much worse for Iran than it is for the United States, which sounds like they want to go
Okay.
back to war. They're eager to do that.
Yes,
I don't know.
they
You
are.
tell me. Here's another part of JD Vance's press conference. He took a couple of questions and then quickly ran away from the press. He said, we leave with a very simple proposal, a method of understanding that is our final and best offer. We'll see if the Iranians accept it. Thank you. This is what he
This is what it is. Listen, I saw it earlier and this is so funny.
said.
Preston.
Mr. Vice President, how often did you communicate with President Trump throughout the negotiations? There were reports that there were multiple rounds where there were breaks in between negotiations. How often did you communicate with the president throughout those rounds, and what was he saying as you were going through these negotiations that you said fell short?
Yeah, obviously we were talking to the president consistently. I don't know how many times we talked to him, a half dozen times, a dozen times over the past 21 hours. We obviously also talked to Admiral Cooper, to Pete, to Marco, to the entire national security team. We talked to Scott Bessent a number of times. So look, we were constantly in communication with the team because we were negotiating in good faith. And
All right.
we leave here, and we
All
leave
right.
here with a very simple proposal, a method of understanding that is our final and best offer. We'll see if the Iranians accept it. Thank you.
This is what really happens, and this is what really
Or
happens.
Minister Netanyahu at all today? What about the Strait of Hormuz?
And the latest there from
He's asked about the Strait of Hormuz, which
Yeah.
Donald Trump is actively bragging is open,
Yes, yes.
and he walks away from the
He
question.
walks away from that question. He walks away.
He runs away. And quite frankly, look at these knuckleheads. Does anybody look at this picture and have confidence that either of these two losers are going to get something done?
Dude.
These guys, Jared Kushner, Steve Witkoff, these
Yes, Jared Kushner, Steve Witkoff.
are the guys that are going to negotiate a long-lasting peace deal. God help us. And I'm not even
God, help us. Really, really, look at him. Look at these two pieces of toy right here.
religious. God help us if these
Yeah.
are the guys behind the negotiations for
No
the United
way.
States of America. Marjorie Taylor Greene even chiming in saying peace talks were unsuccessful, excuse me. They have chosen not to accept our terms. War with Iran, a war we should not even be fighting, is back on. Lord have mercy on the innocent.
Yes, yes, true,
Once
Lord.
again, Marjorie Taylor Greene making a good point. And so what was Donald Trump doing tonight? As these negotiations are ongoing and failing, right
Yes, he's at the UFC fight with, you know what it is.
in front of the entire world, where was the president of the United States tonight? He
Think
was at a
about it.
UFC event.
Yes, a fighting
He was
event.
at a UFC event. He walked out with Dana White at this UFC event.
Yes.
You can see him right there. Look at him waving to the crowd.
Yes, Dana White, then President Donald Trump. Dana White. Oh, damn.
He loves it. I mean, remarkable. This
Dude.
guy at a UFC event.
And
as-
the world is at war. World is at war right now.
These negotiations are ongoing. And it wasn't just Donald Trump. Here, by the
see?
way, you can see some of the Trump family behind them. There's
Ivanka
Ivanka and Don
Trump
Jr. And for some
Jr..
reason, they started holding hands while they were walking out.
I don't know. What is this?
I
Yeah.
don't exactly know why they did that, but it wasn't just Donald Trump. And more importantly than Ivanka and Donald Trump Jr.,
Yes.
Marco Rubio was there.
Oh, damn, Marco.
The Secretary of State is at a UFC event the night that the United States is negotiating an agreement with a foreign country which we are actively at a war with.
This is what it is. And they are saying they are constantly in the talks with the president, Marco Rubio, and so many others.
And look at him, he's throwing up signs. He thinks he's so cool. Oh, I'm at the UFC event, guys. Look at me, I'm on TV. What a
Yay.
loser. These guys are having the time of their lives.
Yes, they are just living their life. They have nothing with your responsibility. The living American people's responsibility. They have no responsibility at all.
At wherever this UFC event was being held, they're throwing up signs to the camera while Americans are wondering, will there be a conclusion to this war? Iranians are wondering, will there be a conclusion to this war?
Everyone.
And look at them hanging out. There's Tiffany in the background. There's Dana White hanging. A war is ongoing, and Donald Trump and Marco Rubio are out on the town. They're hanging
Let's have some fun. They are saying they are having fun of their lifetime.
out. They have a boys' night. Disgraceful and embarrassing for the
Embarrassing.
United States of
Yes,
America.
disgraceful.
But not surprising in the slightest. So look, I will leave the video there. Thank you so much for watching. I just had to talk about this utter failure that we are witnessing in real time. Please make sure to subscribe down below. Drop a like on the video.
Yes, guys, this is bad, right? This is bad.
Comment. Let me know what you think about all of this. Have an amazing rest of your day.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.